Good day everybody, and welcome to today's latest episode on my YouTube video series. And today we're going to talk about the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone. Now what has happened was that on the 14th of October we had the second Joint Investment Forum held in Singapore. This is the second one. The first one was held in JB a few months ago, and this is an investment forum where we invite all the business people and the ministers and the politicians to come into a room and talk about what has been done for the Special Economic Zone so far and what can be achieved, and a lot of results sharing between different business owners. Okay, so this was held in Ritz-Carlton in Singapore. Right, on Singapore side we had Deputy Prime Minister Gan Kim Yong, and on Malaysia we had Tengku Zafrul, who is the Minister for Trade and Industry in Malaysia. So what's happened, that the biggest sharing of course was by Singapore, where the DPM Gan Kim Yong mentioned that Singapore private businesses have already committed 5.5 billion Singapore dollars worth of investments into the Special Economic Zone. Right, so let's start a bit of sharing from both sides. So what's happened, that Malaysia Minister Tengku Zafrul, he mentioned that Malaysia has committed a 200 million ringgit fund. Right, this is to help SMEs to do business in the Special Economic Zone, right? And they have also mentioned they now have a process where they can fast track approvals to get your manufacturing license within 7 days, right? So if you're a manufacturer in Johor in the Special Economic Zone, right, the government can get your license done in 7 days, right? And also they talked about visas for business investors and also for funding to help improve skills trainings for workers here in Johor Bahru. Whereas on the Singapore side, DPM Gan Kim Yong mentioned that, as I mentioned earlier, already 5.5 billion worth of committed investments into businesses in Johor Bahru in the Special Economic Zone, right? And he also mentioned that Singapore side has set up a project office, right, to help businesses navigate with their Malaysia counterparts, right, so they can get their things up and running as soon as possible. A bit of the case studies here that we see here in the Special Economic Zone that was shared during this forum. So the first one is a Dutch logistics company called Quaitner plus Nagel. I don't know, that's the way the name, I'm not sure whether I pronounce it correctly. Quaitner plus Nagel. So they are a Dutch logistics firm, right? Basically they run logistics direct, so movement of goods, right? And they have an office here in Singapore, right, in Tuas near Pioneer, and they also have a big plant here in Johor near the port of Tanjung Pelepas. So basically what they said here, the benefits of running a business on both sides of the border is that if a client needs speed and fast, then they park in Singapore. If a client need more space and cheaper, then they park in JB. So as a business, they can have more options for their clients, right, for logistics services. He also mentioned about things that can be improved, the managing director, which is basically to move to a paperless system for customs clearance, and also to make it more sustainable, as in no need to come out paper lah, because I'm sure all these things use a lot of paper. Okay, so we move on to the next example. A company called Artisan, they are going to open up a 200-acre indoor agriculture farm, right, in Sedenap, which is towards the north of JB. So 200 acres for indoor farming, I think something that Singapore is working on quite a bit. And of course in Singapore you can't get 200 acres of land so easily lah. So they go to Johor to do this, right? So this is by a company called Artisan. They're going to work with a joint venture partner here in Malaysia, right? Another company is called ResMed. ResMed is something to do with respiratory devices, right? They are from US and Australia, right? They have an office here in Singapore. That's their Southeast Asia HQ, right? They also have a manufacturing plant in JB. So very simple, as I mentioned earlier, right? HQ in Singapore, we're selling to the rest of the world, right? Connected to their home office or whatever, right? And to do marketing and to raise capital. But the manufacturing part done in Johor, right, through their Johor factory. So this is a very common model, right, for the easy wins when it comes to the SEZ. Enterprise Singapore chairman also mentioned that ever since they started talking about the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone last year in January 2024, they and their Malaysia counterparts have received over 1,000 inquiries here. That's a lot, right? And I understand most of it comes from China. Okay, we go to other case examples. So Olam is a Temasek backed company, right? They're basically in the food chain, food supply space, right? So Olam has a dairy production facility here in Johor, right? They opened it since I think 2013, right? They're going to expand a new one which will double their capacity, that will open by 2027, right, and create more jobs, right? We also have a logistics company called Sinchu Woodpack. So the boss mentioned that they have clients operating on both sides of the border. In Singapore and JB, it's becoming more and more common now, where clients have businesses on both sides, and as a logistics provider, as a transport provider, they must support both sides of the border. So that's why they have a big plant here in Sri Alam in JB, right? And the last story is shared by Q&M Dental. Q&M Dental, I think most of you know this brand is a dental brand in Singapore. It also provides dental services in JB. So they have a number of clinics, right, dental clinics in Malaysia, right, including a number of them also in Johor. And they expect when the RTS is up, infrastructure is there, more and more people from Singapore will travel to JB, including for dental treatment. Okay, so these are all the examples today, right, about the special economic zone. So my sharing from this video, or my summary from this video, is to show that actually today, right, whether you know or you don't know, right, whether you pay attention to the news, you might not be in the business, you might be a retiree, you might be an investor, but this video will showcase to you that today there are many activities going on in the special economic zone, right? Maybank recently released a report saying that Johor is on a multi-year growth phase, right, as we see the benefits of this. This time round, we see the Singapore government actively promoting the special economic zone compared to 10-15 years ago in the Iskandar Malaysia period, where a lot of the activities was done by Malaysia alone. Right now in this Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, we see Singapore actively pushing this as well, because Singapore wants to create a situation where there are businesses in Singapore, have a presence in Singapore, and still have a presence in Johor to make them more competitive. Okay, so I hope this news was useful to you if you're a property investor in JB, right? It gives you confidence that the Johor economy is strong, right, and getting stronger, right? So if you want to buy property in JB for investment, right, I think it's a good time, right? A lot of my friends who are doing industrial property, they are seeing a lot of interest, right? Because factories and factory land is a top thing going on right now. Some of my partners, some of the agents I know recently all did very good transactions in the industrial property, industrial land space. Okay, so if you want to buy a property in JB, do contact me. My name is Ryan Koo. You can contact me on my WhatsApp +65 8126 1626. More than happy to have a non-obligatory discussion with you on any topic regarding retirement in Johor Bahru or property investment in Johor Bahru. If you do like this channel and all the content that we provide, do check out all the other videos on my YouTube channel. Right, please like, share, subscribe, and hope to see you guys soon on my other videos. Thank you very much, and bye bye.